Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we will see the analysis of Alteryx job postings scraped from a live job portal. So the portal which we will be using is harris.com. Let me show that. So this is the portal. These are the jobs which are listed for Alteryx for any experience and any location. And we are going to do the analysis by printing a dashboard which will contain all these details, that the experience range with total jobs, city total jobs, company wise jobs, and the month wise jobs. So let's get started. So before going into details, I already have a video about scraping HTML website as well as using the JSON parts. I'll give the link in the description box. You can look at them additionally as well. So the first thing which we have to do is we have to download the data from the website which is mentioned. For that, we will be using a text input and providing the URL which we are using. Once the URL is being provided, the next step is to download. But here I am using a block until done. The reason being, I am downloading the data from the website and then I am trying to read the same data. So I'm using a block until done to first download. So for this, I'm using the download tool. In the URL field, I have given the URL, encode the URL text, and I'm passing a blob to it. The string is not, since the records are too much, the string does not displace everything. That's why I'm creating a blob. So the output of this download is a blob. Next, I'm passing it through a blob output where I'm specifying the file name. So I have just given a.text format to store the data. Modify the file name by, so there are multiple options. I have kept appending field to file name, using which field, so URL is the field I am using, and the blob field which has our data is the download data. I'm not going much into details because you can refer to the other videos for details about the download tool. Once this is downloaded in our location, so this is where it has downloaded. Next, I'm using a directory tool to point to that directory and pick up any .text files. Once it is picking up, I'm joining it with the previous one, which is, so if you see, we had the URL being passed from here and I'm joining it with the directory tool. Directory tool will have full path directory file name by default. And I'm doing join by record position. This is the result. We'll getting URL, path, directory and all. After we have received this, we have to pass it through a dynamic input to read the file. Where I'm in the edit, I'm passing the sample. So for sample, what I have done is I've just taken this file and kept it inside a folder called sample. Few things to keep in mind. Here I'm using the CSV format. Based on the HTML websites, you will have to modify this to see where the data is coming from. Output file name as field no. Delimiter is none, so I have given hash and 0. Field length by default is 254, but I have increased it. The data import starts on line 18. This I'll explain. And the other thing is allow new lines in quoted. So why I'm starting the data import at line number 18? Once we have downloaded the data which was stored in our location, if I see the data in Notepad, see 1 to 9, then this is everything in the same row. So 10, 11, 12 and then 18. So 18 is where I see all the jobs are being mentioned. So company names and all are mentioned. So we'll have to analyze the HTML. As I mentioned in previous videos, there is no hard and fast rule how to scrape HTML websites. We'll have to see the syntax in which it is used, and based on that, we'll have to use the tools. I'm starting the data import from here because I don't need the above ones. I've kept no delimiters because if you go with fixed width, It cannot happen because there is a lot of data here. The same thing happens if you're going with any kind of delimiter like comma or something. That is also not possible. So I've given no delimiter. With this, I'm getting three records. That's the first record is 18, then 19 and 20. So if I show you 18 is this entire block, then is 19 and 20. So I get 3. And the width was increased so that the entire content can be pushed into a single column. Next thing to observe is, if you see here, this entire thing is a JSON format, which is closing here, and inside this we have the JSON tags and the corresponding values. Every column has a job ID. So again, this is job ID, then this is the next job ID. It has the title and company names, dates and all. So in order to get the JSON format, I'm just replacing this word with null. I'm replacing this with null here. Then using a sample to just get the first one because other two are not relevant in our case. Now we have got this field, which is a JSON field, JSON format field. Now I can use the JSON parse to pass in the value, and here I've selected output values into single string field. This is our input and this is going to be output. So our JSON names and the values are correspondingly kept in 2 columns. Here we see there is a job title. Now first let's move on to how to extract the job title. So you're seeing the JSON name like this, which is feed.job.feed.0 title, where we have the title of any job. Same goes to this here, feed.1.title. So I'm using a simple filter. I'm passing a JSON name which contains only title, and I get all the 20 records. I get all the jobs which are being listed. Starting with first, let's take this. This is the first 0 to 5, and our last is associate director 14 to 17. Associate director 14 to 17. So all the titles have come. So here I'll just extract the years to create the year graph which we have. So I'm using the text to columns. I'm using the delimiter, which is bracket here, splitting into columns. Once that is done, I'm just replacing the other bracket with null. Here, make sure if you have special characters to be replaced, like if we have bracket or if we have semicolon, double quotes, which we have seen in our next previous video, we cannot use double quotes. We'll have to use single quotes. Next, I'm just grouping them. So based on the year, I'm getting all the count of jobs. Select is used just to rename the fields, and sort is used to sort the total jobs in descending order. After this, I'm passing it to a normal table to create a table. And finally, the layout, where I'm keeping the orientation as horizontal. Going to my output, this is the one which is being created with the experience range, total jobs, and for each experience range, what are the total jobs. Moving on to the other, which is location. So for location, actually there are multiple JSON files, JSON names with similar parameters like location. Okay. So you will just have to analyze the data. Here, after analyzing, I found out this is a common field. Let me find it. So this is one location. So it will have a 0 here, which is the first 0th field. Location is 0.name. Again, after location also there is a 0 because this is the first field, because only at one location. Where there are multiple locations for the job, it will be again 1.1.2. Other things. So in this data, we have multiple locations as well. So I'm using a regular expression, which is a regex, This you can find in the parts tool. And passing this format and then passing a slash d. D means any digits. Same for the other D which we saw. Output will be match and the column name for match is JSON name matched. This is going to create a new column wherever there is a match. So if you see Gurgaon, this is a match, this is true. Again, Bangalore is a location. Next is Bangalore. So like this, we are getting all the values. Next, I'm just using a filter to filter out only the true values. Using a summarize to group by and count based on the location, how many jobs are there. Similarly, as previous, I'm using the select for renaming and sort for sorting, passing it through a table and then passing it through a layout which is horizontal. After these two are done, I'm just combining these two in a join. I'm joining based on record position. Then passing it to a layout where I'm keeping the first layout, then the right layout. This is needed for me to produce these two side by side. So for each city, I'm getting all the count of jobs. If we want, we can validate. Let's check one. Pune is 3 times 3 jobs. This is one field. Let's check the multiple locations as well. There is one more Pune and this is the third one. So there are 3 Pune jobs. After location, let's go to the company. So same as the previous one. Here company is also having a single digit based on which column it is. Okay, so you see company data, company name. So there are multiple JSON names with the name company name. So I cannot just use a filter as I have used previously in my title. So I'm using a regex expression. And again, this 0 dot is there. For that, I'm using this dot D, which is any digit. And same as the previous one, passing it through filter, passing it through a summarize, thus shorting it and creating a graph out of it. This is the graph. For each company, we will be getting the jobs. Let's check one. This is Sampurna Consultants. There are 2 jobs. One is this. One is this. Yeah, so 2 jobs. So our data is coming correct. Then we go to date. This is the, for date we are using date created time ms. There are 2 days created time ms and there is a created time. So ms is in milliseconds, so we are using created time ms. It's okay. These are the 2 ones. So I'm using this one, which is the millisecond one. You see the date is in a different format. So this is in Unix date format. We have already seen in our playlist how to do this, but I'll again repeat it. We'll be using formula tool where we'll be using the date time add. So Unix time is always the time after 1970, which is this time. I'm passing the hours, this is millisecond, I'm passing the seconds also. Then I'm adding the date which we are getting from the value string, passing this number divided by 100. This is only for millisecond. So if the data was not in milliseconds, we do not need this divided by 100. And then we are passing the seconds. This means the time after 1970, whatever time is there in seconds, we are calculating. So it gives us the date. Let's see the output. And again, I'm using a month, which is the date time format, passing the date which was prepared in the previous one to get capital B, which is month. So the first job was listed on 28th of October, second is 23rd of October. This 28th, this is 23rd, then we have 21st. 21st. Okay, so this data is also coming correct. Now I'm combining the two graphs. Already the layout were horizontal for both of them, both the charts. Combining them using join by record position, and here again I'm keeping the layout as horizontal. First I'm putting this layout and then the right layout. Once all these are done, I'm using join multiple. We could have used join also because there are two records, but I'm just showing if there were multiple other graphs how you can do. So I'm doing a join multiple. The other things parameters remain same as join. Only thing is we can add multiple conditions to it. I mean multiple inputs to it. Join by record position. The two inputs we are getting, whichever we want to keep, we are passing it through a layout again. So this is orientation I've kept as vertical. There are multiple options you can keep. You can give a section break. It will go to a different page. You can change this percentage. Here I have given the border and separator as well. And here you can decide a sequence, in which sequence you want which graph. Next thing is our report header, where I'm giving the title, and finally we pass it through a render where we specify the output file. The layout data field is going to have the layout and the header is going to have header. This is necessary to check this and check these to show the header and put on the first page. So this is the final output. The month wise graph is this, where we are getting for August, September, October how many jobs were there. For October the jobs are highest, which is 9 jobs which were being listed. If you find the video helpful, please subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.